Okay, Chelsea fans, we've just done a video about Mauricio Pochettino. We've just done a video talking about some potential optimism for your future. But what James and I are going to get into now is the nitty gritty of what needs to happen this summer. And James, I mean, you tell me if I'm going too crazy here with what I'm about to say. The biggest rebuild ever? I mean, in terms of the
Mm,
amount of players coming in, the amount of players going out, the turnover in the first 11, also, I mean, this is, in my opinion, and again, you may disagree, but in my opinion, this is the biggest squad turnaround, transaction heavy summer that we're potentially ever going to see.
Did Chelsea not just spend 600 million in like January, Jack? I don't. How much more of a
No, no, no.
turnover
But what I'm
do
saying
you
is
want?
players have to go now. That's what I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah, players have
Like,
yeah,
this
players
is,
have to go, but there's
James,
still going to be a lot of players. The players going, there's still going to be another 24, 25 there. Like this, I want you guys to realize here is that Chelsea have so many players. We're not actually able to fit all of them in the board, so we have to
mhm.
shrink the whole thing. So we have to make expand it because there's so many players there. We have to expand the pictures. But yeah, I mean, I personally for me, I just don't want to see Chelsea spend another 600 million again. Yeah, I want
No,
to
I
see them
think
probably mainly get rid of players than be spending crazy amounts of like money again because it gets to the point where teams don't take you seriously. I feel like a lot of teams don't take Chelsea seriously right now, and if they do what they did in January, I feel like they could potentially not ruin their club long term, but also ruin the Premier League. If I'm being truthfully honest.
Well, I think realistically, maybe three players this summer would be my guess. If you were giving me an over under, I might do like 2.5. If Pochettino's a really big fan of like one or two players, a central midfielder and a striker maybe or something like that, I think they'll sign off on that. But yeah, my point from the beginning, James, was the amount of players that are going to have to go. I mean, you can't just keep buying and keep buying and keep buying and keep buying players. It's insane. So there's going to be some hard conversations. There's going to be some players sold for way less than their value should be. But again, Chelsea have put themselves in this position. Let's not mess this up. This is a Todd Bowley created situation, and he's the one who has to get out of it. So again, a lot of these names are going to be very, very quickly dealt with by me and James, and that sell column is going to fill up quickly. So James, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Eduard Mendy, are they both kept? Are they both gone? Are you keeping one and selling one? How are you
I
feeling
d-
about the goalkeeper
Personally,
situation?
I feel like Chelsea, this goalkeeper situation, I think they do need another goalkeeper. Um, I feel like Kepa's probably the one that they're going to keep and probably bench. I'm going to put Kepa on the bench, and unfortunately, as I probably just jumped at it already, I think Mendy is going to be sold.
I tend to agree with you. Edouard Mendy was playing some incredible football for about a year and a half. But for whatever reason, whether that be
Going
in
off the board.
training or match performances, I don't know. It's kind of what fell out of favour at Chelsea. Kepa seems to have got his place back. But James, too much baggage, I would say, to a certain extent with both goalkeepers. So you need to pick one and probably just keep them on the bench. I agree. Kepa is probably going to be the one going forward. Pochettino goes for. I'm going to quickly, James, and I'm sure you'll agree with you. I'm going to put Marcus Bettinelli there or as another sell. Just needs to be gotten rid of. He's been associated with the club a long time. It's not even really a good backup for this day and age in the Premier League. The third goalkeeper, and again, there's a couple other goalkeepers here which I've not included. There's a Bergstrom and Woody. Again, these are guys who are probably never going to get minutes. James, I think the third string goalkeeper, and it's another guy that you keep and either put on the bench or keep and loan. It's that third goalkeeper spot. The American Gabriel Slonina, again, impressive performances. This might be a future American, international starting goalkeeper. So again, for a third stringer, I think that's pretty strong. Thiago Silva, James, the quality's still there, but the age, new manager, new era. Does that mean that some of the older players need to go, or are you sticking with him for the time being?
Personally, I think Thiago Silva's been an incredible servant for Chelsea, Jack. I think what he's been able to do since he's joined has been incredible. But him being 40 years of age, I do want to see him enjoy his time away and not having to have the pressure of football. Maybe he still wants that. Maybe he still wants to be playing at the Premier League at the highest level at 40. Personally, Jack, this is a Thiago Silva decision because I think Chelsea would be happy to keep him, but to me, it's more his decision. I can come in and tell you, but if he wants to stay and give us another give us another year of football, if you're a Chelsea fan, you want him there. So I would say keep.
I think so too. I think probably bench for me, James. I don't think he starts going into next year. I'd be kind of amazed, but again, you need a standard bearer, right? You need to set a standard at your football club for a team that has been lacking standards in a major way in training and in terms of the way that the team are handling themselves. Thiago Silva is one of those guys, and James, you're right. Not necessarily at Chelsea, but I think over the course of his career, international career and club career, this is a guy that gets to decide how he wants to go out. This is like people at home, especially younger fans out there, do not get it twisted. This is one of the best centre backs of this most recent generation, and needs to be respected as such. James, one kind of legend over to another legend. For me, still, I mean, we'll see how the rest of Kyle Walker's career plays out. But to me, arguably the best right back the Premier League has ever seen in terms of, for me, consistency, position versatility, being a leader, being a captain, always being available, being dependent. Cesar Piliqueta, where do you stand on him? Is it time for a change?
Oh, definitely, definitely. He's been an incredible servant for Chelsea. I remember when he first came in, they were calling him Dave because they couldn't pronounce his name. Just overall, Jack has been incredible. Like, Jack could play three at the back, could play four at the back, wing back, whatever you want him to do for Chelsea, he would do it. But in the past few years, you've seen a decline in his performance, and like you've seen him be a bit of a liability for Chelsea when before he was, to me, their best overall defender. Even when they had players like Branislav Ivanovic there, he was like David Luiz, Gary Cahill, he was their best overall defender. But now I think it's definitely time to go.
I agree. Again, there's a small part of me, and I'll leave you with the final decision here, James, and you see if you agree with me here. Similar to Thiago Silva, you need a standard setter, right? You need somebody who's going to have that part of training that's going to keep the young guys and implement what Maurizio Pochettino wants and what should be of a Chelsea player. So I wonder if he falls in that category of on the bench, you keep him around because he's a good pro, or whether you think it's just time for the new bill. What do you think? Do you think keep bench or sell?
I think he's been there for almost Jack. Or he's been there for past 10 years. I think 12 years now. I just think it's time for him to go. He's probably ready to go back to his sunny Spain. So yeah, I think it's
Uh,
time for him to go.
Another, I think, quick, easy one, James. I think on his day, potentially the best right back in the league is Reece James. Keep and surely start.
Yeah, that's not really a debate. Even Wesley Fofana, I think I've already seen him there. You're not going to sell somebody of you paid that much for who has so much potential. So those two, I like almost keep to start.
I agree with you. I think Fofana needs a little bit of work. And I think again he's going to be potentially. There's always going to be that odd mistake in him. There's a few things he needs to tidy up. But again, maybe Maurizio Pochettino, with his experience with the likes of a Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld, maybe he knows. Well, I think he does know what makes a good centre back, Premier League centre back. James, interesting one. Kalidou Koulibaly. This for me would fall under the category of couple of years too late. You and I off camera, I think of maybe a week ago, we spoke about Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, and he's maybe going to be available again. His agent's putting him out there, but again, it's 2 or 3 years too late, right? And that's how I feel about Koulibaly. Entered the Premier League maybe 3 or 4 years too late. So for me, I would sell Kalidou Koulibaly. I don't know where you stand on that.
I feel like for the amount of money you pay for him, I don't think like you can let him go. I don't think he's completely past the Jack. He's only like what 32 or like 31, so he still has a few more legs in him. The one thing I've often looked at with players is confidence, and maybe with a new manager coming in who brings a bit more confidence in him, he can show the quality that he has shown in the past. So for the money that they paid for him, Jack, I would still keep him because you mentioned the experience side of it. There's a lot of young players there. You keep him in there for also that reason. I say keep him bench and possibly start,
Yeah, I'm with
depending
you.
on what the manager wants to do.
And I guess how the rest of this list goes will decide which any of those guys may sneak into starting positions. Interesting one, James. Great season at Brighton. Colwill, who's going to be coming back to Chelsea. Brighton supposedly, if rumours are to be believed, made a £30 million offer, which was swiftly rejected. Does Colwill come back and does he start for you in this Chelsea team, or is it another guy maybe you loan out again, or is he on the bench? What do you think?
I feel like you keep him and like see where like you can fit him in centre back wise. If he's better than like what you have right now, you definitely put him in. And Jack, looking at what Chelsea has at the back, I feel like he can definitely be a starting player there. The one thing that I hope that he doesn't fall into is that Nathan Ake sort of vibe, where oh, we want him because he's doing well in the Premier League, but doesn't really feature for us, and then we loan him. He goes back and forth there. If Chelsea are going to keep this guy, yeah, you keep him. And to me, you give this guy a starting spot and let him flourish and let him show to me what he's about. So to me, let's go keep the start, Jack. Let's go
Yeah, I
keep the
think
start.
I think
He has
so
had a
too.
wonderful season.
Yeah, his Brighton performances, I think, have definitely deserved that. And again, maybe it's a starting spot. And James, you say to him, "Hey, man, it's your spot to lose. I'm going to put you in here, but let's see the performances. Let's see you in training. But we got some guys here who are ready to take over from you, right? If they're not available." James, I'm going to come a little hard on this one. Marc Cucurella, I don't think he's good enough to play for a Champions League level Premier League football team. I think it's one of the worst signings of recent memory. One of them, I'm not saying the worst. Value was appalling. Again, Graham Potter just bringing in a guy who he kind of knows really well.
He didn't. He didn't sign him. It was
Oh,
part
really?
of yeah, it was a part of Tuchel's signings.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I misspoke there. My bad. But yeah, 50 million for Cucurella when you know for a fact that a guy's not going to start a backup fullback for that kind of fee. And again, from when I see him play, I don't think I see anything special. The only thing I'd say is maybe keep and loan. If he has a good season elsewhere, maybe you can get more money for him next summer. But apart from that, I would just sell.
Jack, for the amount of money that like Chelsea have poured into him is crazy.
Yeah.
To me, it's ridiculous. To me, in the fact that he's already on the chopping block after a season, I think it's crazy. But Jack, I do like that suggestion where if they can get like a decent loan fee for him, and then speak to him and like speak to the team and go, they have to trigger what's it called again, a release clause where as soon as he's loaned out, he leaves for about 25 to 30 million. They don't take that big of a loss on him overall, and obviously
Right.
get him his wages off the bill too. So yeah, keep the loan is possibly the best thing. But as you mentioned, it's possibly one of the weirdest signings of all time. Looking at the price for a backup player, that's crazy.
Yeah, I look, I agree with you. And again, it's just poor business, plain and simple from Chelsea. Kind of an interesting one, James. I don't know where you're going to necessarily stand on this. I think as long as you don't go too hard on the keep start thing, I'm probably going to agree with what you say. Malang Sarr has been on loan at Monaco for a season. Came in for a decent chunk of money. I believe it was. I want to say it was 20 million or so, 30 million. So they clearly liked him when he came in. Malang Sarr, does he fit into Chelsea's defensive future, or is that a guy cut ties with?
He's young. Maybe Jack, you have patience with him, but I don't know where he fits. To me, Chelsea have so many sort of young, to me, young and up and coming defenders that they can probably is ahead of him, Jack. Like overall, and to me, in their development, the question is, does he rank over them? Does he get over these players? I don't think so, Jack.
Neither do
I
I.
think it's possibly a time where he kind of gets lost in a shuffle. I think it's possibly time for me to sell if I'm Jack. If I'm being truthfully honest.
Look, I agree with you. I think another loan at a Liga team, you just go, okay, well, he came from a Liga team. He's come to the Premier League. We've loaned him out again straight away to another Liga team. I mean, are we just kind of fulfilling destiny here that he needs to go back to the French league and just try and find his place again? I would say so. And James, we're talking about Chelsea Football Club here. We're going to do these kind of videos with the likes of, potentially maybe an Aston Villa in the future and some other things where you might go, oh, well, the level's kind of different. Chelsea want to be winning leagues and winning Champions Leagues. And is the guy up to scratch even off the bench? Probably not. So I think it's a simple sell there. James, Malo Gusto was one of the signings that Todd Bowley signings from Lyon. Again, I think we haven't even seen the guy play for Chelsea yet. So for me, I'm probably not going to have him start, but I think a guy surely for the bench to deputise for either Chilwell or Reece James.
Again, Jack, I haven't seen uh much of him. I think he's a fullback, but yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Ben Chilwell's a starter.
But Jack, my thing with Ben Chilwell is that can Chelsea trust him because he's shown in recent years that he has just bones of glass, Jack. He just can't seem to stay fit. He just can't seem to have a whole year of constant 90 minutes football, 50 plus games. And that's my only big thing. And Cucurella has been an absolute disaster. Yes, you look at him and keep the start because when he is playing, it's great, but he's not reliable to me. So I would possibly look at that position if I'm Chelsea.
Yeah, I think you're right. And James, Borussia Dortmund, Rafael Guerrero is available on a free transfer. So again, I don't know if he's agreed terms at any other team yet, but certainly a position you might potentially look at going forward as well. Um, I, I'm going to say that he probably for now has to start. I think it's going to be difficult for the Chelsea fan base to see Ben Chilwell on the bench just purely from an injury thing. I think you play him until he is injured again, if that makes sense, and you kind of
Which
make
would
him
probably be the
you
fifth
make
game
him
of the
prove it.
season.
Yeah, right. Um, oh no, Christian Pulisic, you would be very lucky to get up there, my friend.
No,
Where?
no, 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 that's Ben Chilwell, Jack.
Yeah, where is he? No, oh, there it is. Oh, is he really? Jesus. James, these white guys all look the same. Um, James, Trevor Chalobah, not good enough for a Premier League standard. I think a sale to a decent Premier League team, it might be one of these players like a Tomori, like maybe a Tammy Abraham, not this season, but like a Tammy Abraham, where you could maybe see Chelsea one day regretting a sale. Is that something you think?
I would pass Jack. If I'm being honest, I think I would keep. We mentioned
Oh,
Star.
okay.
Star. I don't think Star gets ahead of him. I feel like he's shown that he can't play for Chelsea. Again, will he beat Chelsea's out and out defender next to whoever? I don't know, but he's shown that he is at the level to me to play for Chelsea. So I would keep. You also like have the fact that you have to have a certain amount of homegrown players in there. You don't want to let these sort of players go, Jack. So personally, I would keep.
Keeping kind of a fringe bench player, you think?
Yeah, but I also think that he has a chance, Jack, to challenge for that starting spot.
Starting spot. Badia Shield, this is a start, surely.
Start, bench, be either one, but it's definitely not alone. Definitely not
Not
sell.
sell. Yeah, look, I'm with you. I think he's raw, but he's shown some talent. And again, James, if the likes of Colwill, Fafana, and Badiashile, if they can do it back three and it all works, and they can, build some chemistry, it's kind of a defensive solid part of their game that they can build going forward over multiple seasons.
Jack, Chelsea are killing me with some of these names, Jack. I feel like let's just rip them off quickly. I think it's a sell, Jack.
What
Um,
Ampadu? Yep, I agree. Ampadu, you've got to
He's been at
sell.
Chelsea for a long time. Again, shown bright moments there, but overall, is he good enough to be starting for Chelsea? Nah.
Andre Santos, James, I think I hope you'll agree. I'm going to say loan. Obviously, we haven't seen him for Chelsea yet, but supposedly the kid has talent. But James, he's going to be nowhere near the Chelsea first team for a while, you'd imagine.
No, no, no. Bakayoko,
Bakayoko,
goodness gracious me, Jack.
no,
I think
yeah.
this goes back to Chelsea's worst ever transfer window. I think it was the 2018 summer of 2018. Goodness gracious me, that was horrendous, and he was he was one of the players that did come in. So yeah, definitely, definitely,
Um,
definitely.
Chukwuemeka as well. Again, promising upside, has some talent, but I still don't think has enough to even be a bench player. So to me, that's another player you loan out. Um, I just want to say my bit on this one because I know I kind of shouldn't have even included him, and he's already gone back to Juventus. James, Dennis Zakaria is a really, really nice, really good, top quality football player, an international football player, still young and has a lot to prove and a lot to do. Chelsea's handling of him has been absolutely appalling. When they signed for him, I was gutted because I was hoping he would come to Roma. The fact that it's gone so badly with him, I think, is a real indictment on the way it's gone at Chelsea, and the fact that they haven't triggered the signing of him, even though you look at the names in their midfield and actually go, guys, you're actually doing all right in midfield. You got some names there and some talent. I don't know what you're complaining about. Again, he's already gone back to Juventus, but really poorly handled there. James, surely kind of the centerpiece of Chelsea going forward, Enzo Fernandez, right?
You don't invest that sort of money in a player. I do want to see him improve his performances, but overall, Jack, he hasn't been bad for Chelsea. Still want to see a lot more from him, if I'm being honest.
Conor Gallagher feels like we're getting to kind of an interesting position here, maybe kind of a Mason Mount, Derby County kind of time here as well with
I
with
don't
him.
I don't think so. I feel like it's just time to kind of let go at the level that like Chelsea want to be. I think he's a player that you can get a lot of money for. A team like Everton could possibly get him. I would say sell.
Let me ask you though, would you loan, hope he has another great year and then sell, or do you think just sell right now?
Do you have any hope that Jack in the next 2 to 3 years that he's going to be Chelsea starting number 8 or 10?
No, but I think if he has a Crystal Palace level loan season, right, that then he'll be able to maybe make some more money for them in the year after. What do you reckon?
I don't think so because again, Jack,
Okay.
contracts going to be running out, so possibly I would sell.
Bit of buzz about this guy, Lewis Hall. Is that somebody you'd like to see on loan, maybe at a Premier League team?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Chelsea got so many players.
I
It's
know,
crazy.
James. It's insane. It's insane.
This is this is this is this is
N'Golo
you know
Conte.
unbelievable player. What he's done for Chelsea. I don't want to see everybody go. I still think he still has a lot to give in football. I think he has a year left on his deal. No, I think he's a free agent now. If I was Chelsea, I would still try and renew him, but renew him on the fact that he can get on the football field again. Because
Right.
when he's on the football field, good things happen. I would definitely just try and keep the bench, but to me, he's a starter, and I think like the Pochettino want a player like him in there.
I'm gonna agree with that. Yeah, guy's a beast. I think he's burnt out though, James. I've got to be honest with you. I really do.
Hmm.
I think that this is a guy who's got more football miles on him than nearly any other player we've seen, and his body's just had enough. Mateo Kovacic. Latest rumours are that he's going to join Man City again. For me, this guy's really talented and a guy you should be trying to keep. Do you think that the fact his head's been turned means that you should just let him go?
I think I mentioned this. The deal works well for both parties. He has a year left on his deal. For Chelsea can get 40 odd million for a player, 1 year left on his deal. Great. Kovacic gets to join Manchester freaking City. He's almost guaranteed trophies. And again, going into a Pep Guardiola situation, Manchester City with the style of play, with the type of player he is, I think it works out great from a player who can carry the ball, a player who's great at linking play, and like can also score goals from midfield. I think that would be a phenomenal signing for Manchester City. So.
Yeah, and also if the players are there to be able to do it, just clear them out as quickly as you can. Interesting one though, James. Mason Mount supposedly has agreed personal terms with Manchester United. 1 year left on his deal. Interest from maybe the likes of Arsenal as well, and also I want to say Liverpool. How do you do this? Because supposedly Chelsea want at least 80 million euros for him.
If you can get 80 million for him, sell. If you
Yep.
can get 80 million for him, sell. But I think he's a player that still has a lot with Chelsea. I think could he thrive under Pochettino? We've seen it with the likes of Christian, Ericsson, Dele Alli type. Can he thrive? Yes. If I was Chelsea, I would want to keep him to look to start or possibly bench. Personally, if I'm Chelsea, I'm putting him rather the purple or the green. You don't want to sell him.
I think you're right. Again, the financial implications of it. We're talking about something that hasn't even happened yet. If the 80 million, if the 90 million, whatever comes in with a year left, you rip their arm off. I think James and I are in agreement. This is not an 80 million pound football player, but English tax, right? Still young, the name, da da da. But we're talking about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. From a Chelsea perspective, just keeping players and selling players, it's a guy you definitely want to keep. James, Mudryk. I know this may be a little bit of potentially a sore spot for you, but James, I
No,
see
no.
I see kind of Gareth Bale-esque qualities in Mudryk. Is that something Pochettino can bring out of him?
I feel like it's patience. Just have patience with him. The guy does have incredible ability. Just to me, confidence is a big part of football. He will come good for Chelsea. So to me, it's a keep to start, Jack.
I agree. I agree. It has to be given his opportunity, and even if there are some bad performances, you've got to keep the faith and keep pushing him. Nkunku again, kind of an injury late season here, but I believe he still might have even won the Golden Boot in the Bundesliga. This
16,
guy's a
16 goals equal.
stud, absolute stud. And again, a little bit of a worry for me because he's a bit of a tweener, a little bit of a Kai Havertz type of guy here because we know he's kind of in between positions. But James, when he can go, he can go. And I think you would agree, right? We're looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League.
Yeah, not much to really talk about here. We know the top sort of ability he has overall. Looking forward to seeing him definitely in the Premier League. He, and also Jack, he scores goals and Chelsea lack goals. That's a big thing.
Three quick sells here, James. Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi.
Easy, easy, easy. I think all players that to me should have done a lot more for Chelsea overall. That to me, this should have, you know, brought more in. Like to me, should be starting hands down. But the fact of the Chelsea career just hasn't worked out, and maybe to a certain point, like football's kind of past them, so they kind of need to go find their feet somewhere else. So definitely, definitely, Jack. a sell.
Raheem Sterling, James, what do you think?
I think it's a no doubt about it. You keep this guy. He is quality, Jack. I think for Chelsea hasn't had a great season, but he has shown some bright sparks. Yes, injuries and his form dip at the start of the season. He shows the quality he has. To me, I think he's heavily criticised, unfairly criticised at times. And next season, I think can play a big part for Chelsea. So I'm definitely keeping Jack.
I think it was a bad signing. Just timing wise, I think it was a bad signing. I think for this stage in Sterling's career and for this stage that Chelsea are in, I think that did not fit to me. If Chelsea were just on the verge of being about to win a Premier League or be competitive in Europe or something like that, great signing. But for the era they're in now, I feel bad for Raheem Sterling, to be honest with you. And James, probably a deal that if I were him, I wouldn't have accepted. But here we are. And again, like you've said, this is still a top quality player. James, Ziyech, Hakim Ziyech, time to sell.
Jack says it. That's not that's amnesia easily. I think when we started this, we should have players who were just guaranteed sales. He's
Yeah,
one of them.
you're probably right. So
You
so
know,
let's
I still think that overall ability, Jack, there isn't too many players here on technical ability who's as good as Hakim Ziyech. Just overall,
right.
just hasn't worked out. It really just hasn't worked out for him at Chelsea.
Got to move on from Aubameyang, surely.
I think football's kind of passing by. It's almost MLS is calling for him, or maybe he goes back to Barcelona. But it's Chelsea, one of the worst moves overall, Jack. Goodness gracious me, you know.
Um, João Felix as well. I think probably he needs to go back to Atletico Madrid. I don't think they're
I,
going to pay the fee for him.
yeah, I think it was confirmed that Pochettino does not want João Felix. So yeah.
Romelu Lukaku. How do you solve a problem like Romelu Lukaku? I think it's
I don't
time
think
to give him. I think it's time to you give him a chance back in Chelsea with Pochettino, and you try and give him the support he needs.
to me this is a no-brainer. First of all, Pochettino needs to speak to him. If his head is right, if he's committed, you got to bring him in, Jack. Listen, having top quality strikers nowadays in football is so difficult. Guys, look deep how many Chelsea players there are. We're running out of space on the screen. Jack money to obviously um make it smaller, but yeah, Lukaku to me you got to keep. Yeah, it's hard to find top quality strikers.
Hi Havertz, what do you think? How do you deal with this? Do you sell now while the chance is there?
He might fall in that Deli Ali mode, Jack, if I'm being truthfully honest, of what like Pochettino was able to do with Deli Ali and playing it in our false role. But for me, he's been at Chelsea for a while. I don't think even like the fans don't have the connection with him. And I think overall, maybe it's just this being at Chelsea hasn't worked out overall. Maybe a move to Bayern or even I'm here in Real Madrid. If I'm being truthfully honest, Jack, I'm selling. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
I'm
with you.
like
I think the value. I think the value's there for Havertz to sell. I think you're absolutely right. I've just filled in a couple of gaps there. So you got David Fofana, the striker, who again I just think needs to be loaned out and to be able to show his quality to see if he can be an option for Chelsea going forward. James, Armando Broja as well. I mean, is that a loan or is that a keep and stick on the bench for you?
I don't know what Chelsea are going to do with him overall. If I'm Jack, I think that you possibly sell and like get a certain amount of money for him because is he really going to be Chelsea's guy? Because sometimes I feel Chelsea just hoard players. They see him, oh,
Yeah,
he had a good time at Southampton. Let's bring him back and sit him on the bench. If you're not going to play him, get him out of there. You know.
yeah. Look, I'm kind of with you there, James. This is going to be a little bit of a hot shot for me. I am going to make sure that Broja stays on a loan and Fofana stay on a loan. I want to stick Noni Madueke in the starting spot to keep there because I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think with him and Mudryk, he's a real game changer, a real athlete that maybe Pochettino can get around and sort out. Do you have any qualms with that?
No. Again, will he be a star at Chelsea?
And
Not. I'm not too sure.
just to make the bench have 7 players in it, I'm going to stick Broja in the bench so that we actually have 7 players on the bench. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I know it was kind of quick fire, especially because of the amount of players that we have in this list, but that's Chelsea's fault. That's not up to me and James. What do
Jack,
you
could you
think?
just scroll up and down so everybody can see all the
See all the names.
goodness
Yeah,
gracious me, guys. Look how
it's
many
insane.
players Chelsea has. Crazy,
But yeah,
guys.
let us know what you think in the comment section. Like the video if you like what you've seen. Hit that subscribe button, and me and James will see you guys next time.